Hello and welcome back to the channel for this Wednesday upload. Now, I normally on Wednesdays I do post the currently ongoing series of me going to locals and seeing how well I do. I call it Local Chronicles. But unfortunately, the previous Sunday that's just gone by of the 27th, there wasn't any locals that week due to Lorcana having a big event and all the tables have been fully booked. So unfortunately, we could not do Yu-Gi-Oh this week, but I still wanted to have an upload, which is what this is, as you can tell by the title and the thumbnail. I'm going to be going over some um, test hands with my current deck of choice, which is Unchained Vanquish, which currently has a 5-win and 6-loss ratio. From the 3 locals that I've brought it to, the first time I brought it, I got two wins, 2 loss. The following week was 2 wins, 2 loss, and last week was 1 win, 2 loss because there was only 3 rounds. But you can also obviously go back and check out those local videos for that to see as well. I should also mention some of these test hands might not look that great. There might not be a lot that I can do, and that is because this is not a combo deck. This does rely on your opponent essentially, so it needs to revolve around what your opponent does and what you can do on your opponent's main phase as well. So with that being said, let's dive into this. I'm going to shuffle live so you're seeing it as I see it, and not pre-setting things up. And let's see what it is that we get. I'll probably do 2 test hands for going first, and then I will do 2 test hands for going second. I'll try to incorporate what to do if you get hand trapped, depending on which one it is. So I'll just cut the deck, and then we will draw our first hand. So starting off with, we have Vanquish Soul, Dust Devil, Mad Love, we have Unchained Twins, Sarama, Razin, and we have Caesar Villius. So a pretty okay going first hand. Ideally, I would have liked to seen a different Unchained than Sarama. Usually, I want to see Aruha, and Dust Devil is good. Going like, it's okay. So let's just play this out. See what we can end on. So starting off with, we will normal summon Razin. We'll activate Razin's effect to search out Heavy Bogar, which I play just the one of in the deck. And then we'll get a shuffle up. And so here's what will happen for hand traps. So say your opponent tries to imperm the Razin. This is when you will use Caesar Villius to tag Razin out by bouncing it back to hand to special summon it, thus dodging the imperm so Razin still searches, in which case we'll still search out the Heavy Bogar. However, if it's any other hand trap, Ash, Effect Veiler, that would hurt because I can't really dodge the negation for that. So now I have 2 options. So I've done my normal summon, and I have really three options that I can do. The first one, which we'll do right now, is we will set the Dust Devil, because with Dust Devil I can target one of my Vanquish Souls, switch it to defense, and then flip face down monsters my opponent controls up to the number of Vanquish Souls that I have. So that's the main one that's going to stick. So we have 2 options, 3 options that I can do. So the first option here would be to link Razin into Rock of Vanquisher. then I would use Rock of Vanquisher's effect to add Razin back into hand, and I would pass turn. Then on my opponent's turn in my main phase, I would bring out Razin, use Razin to search out either, in this case, it would be, I would search out Pantera and go from there. Tag out to either Caesar Villius or Bogar or both throughout the turn and see where things go from there. So the other option that I could do is just tag out to Caesar Villius and pass turn there, have a 3k beat stick on board, but no real follow-up. And then the other option that I have is I can go Bogar, bounce Razin back to hand, and special summon it. And here I have then two options. I can reveal a Earth and a Fire and burn for 1,500, or I can reveal one of my two Darks to draw. So let's see what I get from the draw. And it is Escape of the Unchained, which would have been better if I had any of my other Unchained cards than Sarama. So I think in this case, what I will do is I will go for the Rock of Vanquisher play, and then on my opponent's turn, during their main phase, I will special summon Razin from hand, activate Razin's effect, add Pantera to hand, get a good shuffle, and then again, depending on what deck my opponent is playing, would depend on my follow-up. Because I would then, go into Caesar Villius, bouncing Razin back to hand. So now Rock of Vanquisher will only allow my opponent to target Caesar Villius for attacks. But not only that, I do now have a Earth, Fire, and Dark. So I have the pop effect live. And then I can tag out, if needs be, to Bogar and either, again, reveal the Earth and Fire to burn for 1,500, or I can reveal a Dark to draw a card, in which case I will draw into Abomination's Prison, which is a better draw for a follow-up instead of having just Escape in hand, because then I can get into any other of my Unchained plays, and then as well I can flip Dust Devil and then switch Bogart to defense and maybe stop one of their engine pieces by flipping it face down. And yeah, that's and then just see where the duel plays out from there. So that's test hand number 1, with the many different areas that I could go into and what they would ensue. So let's go for test hand number 2 and see where we go from there. Okay, so test hand 2, we have Escape of the Unchained, Kashtira Fenrir, Aruha, we have Abominable Unchained Soul, and lastly, Triple Tactics Talent. So by the looks of things here, we don't have access to any Vanquish Souls, so it's predominantly Unchained here. So obviously starting off, I will use Kashtira Fenrir to special summon himself, and then search out another copy of itself, because I only play 2 Fenrir, and that's it. Now, if this gets ashed, so say we don't have access to our other Fenrir, that is fine, because then we can triple Tactics Talent to draw 2, which is Imperm and Aruha, which the Imperm is good, to have as that negate. So this is if Fenrir gets ashed. Then what I would do would be I would set the Imperm and the Escape. I'd use Aruha effect to pop the Escape to special summon himself, and then I would special summon Sarama from the deck, which I would then use Sarama's effect to reset the escape and pop Aruha. And normally, if I was going second, I would bring out, Abominable Unchained Soul, if I can get this to focus on the card. You know what it is. To then discard the other Aruha to get a pop, and then so off of Sarama, Aruha's popping, I would bring out Shavara, and then I would then let's see. Yeah, I would link these two into. I have two options. I can either go for Llama or I can go for Rage. And so this is again based on if Fenrir gets ashed. So I have these two in hand. I could search out so if I just go for Rage, that's it. I would pass turn on that. But if I went for Llama, I would then, of course, Yama would add a Unchained monster, which, since I already used the red doggo, I would add Shyama to hand. And then I would Shyama pop the escape to special summon it to have an extra body on board. And then in end phase, Shavara will activate, and that I will either set Abominable or I would set Escape. And I think in this instance, I will set the Abominable, and that is the end board. So the only thing that would change if Fenrir hadn't been imperm, say I could add the other Fenrir, then the hand and field would be slightly different without imperm and the second Aruha. So we'll just add those to the bottom. And then we have Abominable and Fenrir in hand. And so then on my opponent's turn, say they do something, I can flip up Abominable Chamber and then special summon the Abominable Unchained Soul, pitch the Fenrir, and pop a card on their field. And then, so that is test hand number 2, where I only have access to the Unchained engine, which does come up quite a bit with this deck, which is fine because I do love the Unchained engine. So now, let us do a test for seeing what we could do going second. If we lose the die roll, which, knowing me, I do tend to lose the die roll quite often when I go to locals. Oops. Okay, let's do one more. Okay, so going second, the opening hand is Escape, Caesar Villius, Bogar, Snow Devil, Stake Your Soul, and then the draw for turn is another copy of Stake Your Soul. So, this is not really a good opening hand, because Escape is a dead card. Whilst, yes, it is nice to have, Snow Devil in hand, but opening up double Stake Your Soul when only one can be used once per turn, because it is a hard once per turn, it kind of hurts, because I can reveal Bogar, get into Mad Love. Mad Love will search either, which would probably be just the spell if I do decide to search. But if I reveal Caesar Villius, then that's Pantera being brought out, and that isn't really all the best, because then I would link probably into Rocket Vanquisher, add whichever one, be it Pantera or Mad Love, back to hand, and pass on that with obviously Snow Devil set and the escape as a bluff. So this would be 100% a brick because I just, depending on what my opponent plays, depending on what happens, hand trap wise, it's not really great because if this gets hand trapped, that's it. There's nothing I can do. I mean, I can set this and I can activate this on my opponent's draw phase, burn them for 1,000, and special summon Caesar Vilius or Heavy Bogar. But that's it. That's all the play that I would get. So that is not a good going second hand. So let's see what the next going second hand will be for the end of this video. And we shall see what we can do. Right, so going second, our opening hand is Aruha, Pantera, Chamber, Escape, we have Mad Love, and then drawing for turn, we have Dust Devil. So, there are options. We have plenty of options, actually. So starting off, we will, because I control no monsters in my main monster zone, I can special summon Pantera from hand. Now, unfortunately, that's all Pantera is really good for, because if I reveal a Earth, which I don't have, it cannot be destroyed by battle this turn. If I reveal a Earth and Fire, which I only have a Fire, it destroys cards in the spell and trap zone. So that would be the first special summon. Then I will set the Dust Devil, the Escape, and the Chamber. I would then Aruha pop the Chamber to special summon itself. Then that locks me into Fiends. So then off of Aruha, I would bring out Sarama. Then off of Sarama, I would reset the Chamber and pop Aruha, which I would then off of Aruha. Again, this is going second. So any of these could be hand trapped, and then that would nearly stop the plays. So say Sarama got ashed here. The only other play that I would have is normal summoning Mad Love, because Mad Love, as you can kind of see, but it is a bit blurry, is a fiend. So I would normal summon Mad Love in this instant, and the chamber would still be destroyed. And then from Mad Love, I only really have two options here to add to hand. I can add another copy of Dust Devil, which, considering I don't have any cards in hand, it's not really useful. And so the only other option would be Dust Devil instead of Snow Devil. But then again, I only have the one Vanquish Soul, so it's not really the best option, but it would be the only option available. So we'll play on as if no interruptions, no hand traps. So then off of the Aruha pop, depending on what my opponent has on field, I would either go for Shavara, or I could go for Abominal, or I could go for let's see, I think I went past it. Shyama. Yeah, Shyama. So it does. We'll go for. We'll go for. We'll go for Shavara. In this case, again, it depends on what I am going up against. Depends on what I would bring out. I did actually misspeak there. I forgot about Pantera, so I could then flip two guys face down instead of the one. So I will more than likely just leave Mad Love in hand because the search is just not really all that worth it, and then it would turn off. Snow Devil because I would have no card in hand. So that would be basically inflict the 400, special summon the Mad Love. Mad Love will search another copy of Dust Devil and we'll, try to go from there. But what we will do is I will then link Shavara and Sarama into, we'll go for Yama. And then Yama will add us. I could go for Aruha because I would have, the chamber to special summon it, but it would then give me two options for Snow Devil, being burn for 1,000, 400 and 600, special summon the Mad Love, and then protect my Vanquish Souls. So that is option one. Option two, which is the is I could add Shyama because I could pop one of my sets and then bring this out. So we'll add that as option two. And then option three, obviously, is Abominable. So those are the three options to add to hand. So let's play out each different option, starting off with Aruha. So in this case, depending on what my opponent has, I would either go to battle phase and try to attack some of their cards, and then in end phase, the red dog would trigger, allowing me to set any of my Unchained cards. So what I would do is I would probably set another copy of Escape. So that's 4 set cards now that we have. So then my opponent draws for turn. In their draw phase, I would flip up Snow Devil, revealing a Dark and Fire, burn for 1,000, special summon Mad Love. Mad Love would then trigger, adding another copy of Snow Devil to hand. Where is it? There it is. And then we would just go from there because I do have 2 escapes set, as well as I would have a chamber, so I could then, say activate chamber to special summon Aruha if needs be, and then on resolution, I would flip one of my escapes, target Aruha, target one of my opponent's monsters, pop it, Aruha would then get it, Aruha's will then trigger, and I would probably bring out Abominable, use Abominable's effect pitch, get rid of another card, assuming all that goes through. So that is the play if I add Aruha to hand. So let's go as if I added Shyama to hand next. So from adding Shyama, what I could do is I could pop. So we'll get rid of one of the escapes here. I would pop Escape to special summon Shyama and pop one of their spells. Then Escape would then trigger, allowing me to special summon, and then I would have 2 choices. Depending on what I'm going up against, I could send Mad Love to grave to pop one of their cards, which does mean Snow Devil is a dud. The same with Chamber. But I would have a decent enough board presence, I've already got, let's see, 7,000 damage here. So 8,700 on board. Again, depending on what I'm going up against, depending on if they bricked or not, this could be game. This could be game on field. If I added Shyama to hand. So now let's rewind to if I add Abominable to hand instead. So from there, I would just what's your no, I linked. Yeah. So I would then adding the abominable I would pass, which then the red dog would trigger, allowing me to set another escape on field. My opponent draws for turn. In their draw phase, I would Snow Devil, reveal a um, reveal a dark that would special summon me um, Mad Love in defense, and then Mad Love will search me a Snow Devil, and then I could then activate a Chamber to special summon the Abominable, use its effect to pitch the extra Snow Devil in hand to grave, pop a card, and then I could flip either one of my escapes to probably pop Abominable and then one of their cards. And assuming I live a turn on my end phase, Abominable does come back, but I won't have any cards in hand to discard. So that's all the plays that we have for that opening hand. Which honestly, there was a lot of plays that I just as I was going through, I was like, okay, let's see what we got here. Let's see what we can do. And honestly, I'm still new to this deck, so I was not expecting there to be that many different, areas or avenues that I could potentially, go down in order to, especially with that hand going second. So that is it. So, like I said, all those test hands that I just done are situational. It just depends on what I'm going up against and if I come into contact with hand traps. So the only hand trap this deck will 100% play through is Dimensional Shifter, because it doesn't hurt us, because with the Vanquish Souls we don't really rely on graveyard. As for the Unchained side of things, most of the Unchained doesn't matter where they go, if they're as long as they're destroyed by battle or card effect, they will get their effects to trigger. So this is one of those decks that are able to play through Shifter pretty well. I will be making some changes to the deck by adding in Tikaboo, maybe Anti-Spell Fragrance. I'm not 100% sure if Anti-Spell will go into the side or the main deck, but I will be also adding in another hand trap for the side deck, being Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries. And that, let me just actually zoom in now that I don't need to be zoomed out as much, is going to wrap this video up. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Hopefully I didn't make any misplays with those test hands. If I have, please do let me know in the comments down below. Because like I said, I'm still very new to the deck, so any misplays I made, please do point them out in a respectful manner, and I will appreciate that. Anyway, that is going to wrap this up. Will there be a locals vlog next week? I don't know, to be completely honest with you, and that is a personal reason why. So I don't know, but if there isn't, I will obviously have a different video out next Wednesday, and then the local chronicles will resume for the quarter century bonanza event on November the 10th. So at least there will be that one to look forward to if I decide to give locals a miss this week. But I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you thought of this in the comments down below, and I shall see you all on the very next upload.